think I may offend some men with smaller, daintier wrists if I talk about women's watches and stuff. Technically, the Zodiac is a men's watch at 40 millimeters. The Heritor is 45 millimeters, which is actually a little too big. This is a big watch, not quite Flava Flav, you know, clock on your wrist type territory. Hello and welcome to Prestige Worldwide. Up for review today, we have the Heritor Edgard watch. This is a Chinese sort of homage to the Zodiac Super Seawolf. So the Zodiac Super Seawolf is a nice gentleman's kind of automatic watch that sells for, let's see, $1,500. This one previously was sold on Jama Shop. I'll show you guys, let's see. So they have, this is the Heritor Edgard, and I bought this one for, I think it was like 125 bucks, give or take. And now they're actually selling for like 300 on eBay. I've actually owned a couple other ones. I've actually owned that one, and that one, and I've sold them on eBay and, you know, made a small profit. I should have bought more of them. I knew they were cool and didn't realize they were that cool. So you can see they've got like sort of a box index, hands. Let's see, let's go ahead and set this thing to 1010. All right, that's what all the cool kids are doing. They set their watches to 1010. It's the best presentation for the watch. So it's an automatic watch. It has a Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So as you can see, it has an exhibition case back with visible movement and rotor. So there's no battery, there's no Bluetooth, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no you know, iOS connectivity. This is just gears and sprockets and springs and like a rotor that when you move, it spins this rotor and that winds the watch. So you can see that rotor spinning. That will spin around as you just move on a day-to-day basis and will wind the spring, and then the spring slowly gets unwound with the escapement, which is right here. So it has a balance wheel, which has a spring on it, and then there's an escapement, which has these little teeth that sort of alternatively, you know, click to escape, let it release its pressure, but it lets it escape very slowly at a metered rate. So anyways, I'm not a watchmaker, but you know, I can regulate watches. I can adjust the movements. I own a lot of watches. I'm pretty good at it. So, okay, a couple of cool things about this. I've already mentioned the block hands and the block indexes. This has a 120 click unidirectional bezel. It is rated for 200 meters. Now, I wouldn't necessarily wear a Chinese homage watch for scuba diving. I would rather get the real thing or get some other Swiss watch if I'm going to actually use it for diving purposes. You know, I would rather get let's see, that's not it looks so much like the real thing. I was even confused there. I would rather get the Zodiac. Now, I don't currently own a Zodiac. These are actually, the Zodiacs are only 40 millimeters in case diameter, which is sort of like a teeny tiny watch, like a women's watch. Well, okay, I'm a big guy. I think I may offend some men with smaller, daintier wrists if I talk about women's watches and stuff. Technically, the Zodiac is a men's watch at 40 millimeters. The Heritor is 45 millimeters, which is actually a little too big for me. I like a 43 or a 44. So you can see it's 45 millimeters in case diameter, lug width of 22, lug to lug of 53. So this is a big watch. Not quite Flava Flav, you know, clock on your wrist type territory. Now it does probably look a little bit bigger because of the color scheme. Has like a sort of a peach color and then like maybe a coral. So it has a peach color for the dial. Chapter ring is like coral color. And then the bezel, the rotating bezel, is like a sort of a limeish green. And then you can see the minute hand is a green, like a pretty much the same as the bezel. The hour hand is white, and it has superluminova, although it's not like the best superluminova. Let's just say it's luminova. It's probably just regular. It's not hella bright. Let's see if we can check that. Okay, let's just kind of get it under a flashlight. And so yeah, it's got some luminova. It does okay for itself. It's not like the best of the best. It's not going to be as bright as a Zodiac Super Seawolf. But it's a really cool watch. I have it on an AV8 strap. Originally, these come with a metal bracelet. So I really just don't like metal bracelets. I'm just not a big fan. Just doesn't float my boat. Doesn't blow my hair back. They're clunky. I either like silicone or leather. And really silicone is where it's at because then I can get it wet. I don't have to worry about the leather getting brittle or cracking or anything like that. Although leather straps on a watch, very, very comfortable. I used to wear a lot of leather straps on watches, but then I've sort of migrated over to silicone straps. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the time grapher. Last I remembered, it was like about 5 seconds a day fast, give or take. And let's go ahead and see where it's at. So now it's reading at plus 6 seconds a day. Beat error is 0.1 milliseconds. Amplitude is good. That's a good healthy amplitude. Anything above 250 is good for your amplitude. And your beat error, really anything below 0.2 milliseconds is just fine. There's our lift angle 53. We're still running 6 seconds now, 7 seconds a day. 21,600, that's your beats per minute. Sorry, that's your beats per hour. Per minute, I guess it would be divided by 60. It would be more like, well, anyways, we don't need to, this isn't a math video. But yeah, 53 degrees lift angle. That's really the only setting that you need to mess with when you're using a time grapher. So out of the box, this thing's fairly accurate at plus 6. I'm not going to regulate it today. You can watch some of my other videos on watches. I do regulate watches on at least about half of my watch videos, but this one is close enough. I'm not going to regulate it. If I'm going to regulate it, I'll wear it for a day or two and try to get this more accurate because when it warms up to body temperature, right now it's at a flat angle. If you tilt it to, this would be a 9 o'clock down, then you know it changes a little bit. If you tilt it to 12 down, that would be more of like your typical desk diver angle. Then you know it just does different things. On day-to-day wearing it, it's going to have different results than just sitting here at ambient room temperature because I just pulled it out of a case and it hasn't been on my wrist. I've had the Spinnaker Tessie on my wrist for about 5 or 6 weeks now. I really like this watch. This one's a titanium watch. Feel free to scroll down and watch my video review of the Spinnaker Tessie. But back to the Heritor Edgard. The only drawback that I know of for the Heritor is going to be that it has a mineral crystal instead of a sapphire crystal. So, and then it doesn't have a ceramic bezel, but that matches what you have with the Zodiac Super Seawolf, which does not have, as far as I know, it doesn't have a ceramic bezel. At least on the regular model. I think they might have another model, but it has sort of just like a glass, it has like just a painted bezel with like glass, you know, over it. Not my favorite kind of bezel, and it's not luminescent. The bezel is not luminescent. You do get, I think this pip here at the top, this triangle, the circle, I think that might be luminescent. Let's see here. Barely. It's sort of glows in the dark, and I'm talking about this little, let me show you, the circle and the triangle here. That it'd be cooler if that was luminescent. Kind of reminds me of the movie Dazed and Confused, when Matthew McConaughey's character, and he was like, yo, do you got some grass or something? Like he asked something like that. And then the kid was like, no. And then he was like, it'd be a lot cooler if you did. So yeah, it'd be a lot cooler if Heritor had put a better luminescent pip on the dive bezel. But you know, I guess I have so many watches, I'm a little picky. I do like the coin edge grip on the bezel. It's real nice. It has enough of a sort of a drag to it to where it's not, if you bump into a doorway, it's not just gonna spin. Like you need to grip it and turn, which should be how a dive bezel operates. Like for example, this Tessie, one thing I don't like about the Tessie is that it's a little too smooth on the dive bezel, which means like if you bump into something, it can turn. This one, yeah, it just has more, takes more energy to do it. So anyways, I've kept this Heritor Edgard, even though I could sell it for a profit on eBay. I just like it. I like having it in my collection. I am a watch collector, and I don't think that's ever really going to change. So I do like to go through and like sometimes I'll sell watches. I'll wear them for, you know, month and a half, something like that, and then it'll sit in a box for a year, and then sometimes I'll go through my collection. It's like, which watch haven't I worn in like a year and a half or something, and which watch do I not plan on wearing for another year and a half? And then, you know, sometimes I'll go through and have little liquidations, but then as I'm selling watches, I always end up buying more. So I never really escape it, so to speak. The watches just happen, and I don't know. I just really enjoy them. I guess the people watching this video might enjoy watches as well, and I appreciate you guys watching my watch video. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.